All right, everyone, welcome to today's session. Today is going to be the last day where we'll talk about HTML and CSS. So far, I really hope you enjoyed your time in class. I heard that a lot of people are having light issues. Yeah, honestly, the light issues is like really bad, honestly. So, which is understandable. Um, okay, so for today, we are going to be doing a basic recap on all we've done. Like, we'll continue with SCSS, and then after then we'll do a basic recap of what we've done and covered, in the course of this lecture. Yeah. So from next week, Tuesday, you'll be starting out with JavaScript. All right. So, how many of us did the assignments that was given on Tuesday? You have, let me see, reaction. Okay. So that's Jethro and Ruben. All right, Patrick. Michael, Patrick.
It was a mistake.
All right, no problem. Okay. So um that's fine. A lot of excuses. It's not easy, honestly. Yeah, the light situation is not easy, honestly. Where with the country. Okay. So for those that were not in the class, I think I provided the resources provided because we talked about SCSS last week. Talked about SCSS. We talked about SAS. We talked about the syntax of SAS. We talked about why SCSS was introduced. And then we spoke about the BEM methodology for writing cleaner HTML, writing cleaner scripts and stuff like that, basically. All right. So in today's session, we'll continue a little bit to like try and understand how it works. Some people were having they were not really understanding it, but I'm hoping that with the assignments and probably with today's class, you'll be able to understand fully how SCSS works. All right. So let me share my screen and then we get started with it. All right. Um, okay. So can everybody see my screen? Okay. All right. Let's get started. So for the last class, I made use of a slide. Why I made the slide was I think it was also sent to the Discord group, the slide that I made. So I made that slide is because I knew the light issue with a lot of people and some people joined the class late. So with the slides that I created, it was easy for everybody to catch up and then for us to like, carry on what we're doing without like having to go back. You get right? So let me drop this is the slides. Let me drop the link once again. Okay. So once again, if you have any question, you can drop it in the dialog box and then um what and your question would be attended to, or you can just put up your hand and then you will be granted audience to air your questions. All right. So this is the link. So please feel free to open it. So I'll still be making reference to it today, that I made reference to last week. But for today, I'll still be making reference to it. So just open it and can get started. Let me pin it for those that will be joining in later. Alright, so that's that. All right. So last class, we're not able to fully understand. We're not really able to fully understand. Okay, you're asking. If you're asking the difference between CSS and SCSS. If I want to go back to explain it, a lot of people in this class that were around in the previous class would, you know, would, should I say, will be drawn back. So let me be done for what we have today. Then when I'm done, I can go back to explaining it once again for those of us that were not in the class. But basically, let me just give a run through, like so. SAS, which is syntactically awesome style sheets, the CSS preprocessor, and last class I explained what preprocessors were. So preprocessors are like they compile code into preprocessors basically write code that be compiled, and I spoke about other CSS preprocessors like less, and then HTML. There's a HTML preprocessor too, also known as HTML. All right. So there's the indented syntax and there's the sassy syntax. I gave an example of why SCSS is the best syntax for writing Sass. All right. And then I talked about variables, nesting, mixing, functions, partials, and imports. So that's what I talked about basically. So for today's session, we for our so first of all, let's look more into BM methodology. Let me see. So yeah. So we spoke about the what was that? We spoke about the block what again? Talked about the block elements here modifier methodology, which is commonly referred to as BEM. It is a popular naming convention for classes in HTML and CSS, and it was developed by the team at Yandex. And the goal is to help developers understand better the relationship between the HTML and CSS in any given project. All right. So these are the example of what a CSS developer writing in the BM style might write. All right. So this is how it looks like. As I mentioned, this is the block component, and this is the element component, and this is the modifier that changes the style of the block. That's basically. So in this CSS methodology, a block is a top level abstraction of a new component. For example, a button, which is .btn. This block should be thought of as a parent, and child items or elements can be placed inside. And these are denoted by two underscores, just as mentioned in the last class, which follow the name of the block, like for example, .btn, which is a class, and then underscore price. So the price is the element, and then .btn is the block, like it's the parent. And then for modifiers can manipulate the block so that we can theme or style that particular component without inflicting changes on a completely unreadable module. So this is done by appending two hyphens to the name of the block, just like BTN big, BTN orange, for example, that you can see here. So that's how it is. All right. So to understand this principle clearer, I think we had this um website that we created at week 2, I think, if you all can remember. Um, this website. So we created this Wanderlust Adventures website, and so today we'll just be using we use HTML and CSS basically. So for today, I'll be using BEM methodology to like explain um to rewrite it basically. All right, so let's create a new workspace. So let's clear this out of the way. So, all right. Let me get this out of the way. So, please, if you have any questions along the way or along the line, you can ask me. All right. Uh, Is any questions? So basically, we'll be converting that website, the HTML. We'll use BEM methodology to write it, and then we'll style it with SCSS. All right. So let's get started with that. This is our website. Let me drop the link once again for those that don't have it. So let me drop the link. This is the link to the website. We use this website to showcase Flexbox, and yeah, we use it for Flexbox code example. All right, so let's move on. So we'll just start with our HTML5, and then we'll name this Wanderlust Adventures, just as we had um, in the previous one. All right. Oh, yeah, we'll also link our style sheets. So just link it. All right. So now to get us started, let's go back to. Okay, I think another thing we linked was Font Awesome CDN. So you can just grab it, copy it, and then paste it in your head section. So we also linked that, and I think that's all. So if you notice here, we have a container. We have a container, and then we have a sidebar that's the child of the container. And then this was what we're creating our navigation bar. And then you have your UL, that's your unordered list, and your LIs. So now for this, let's use what do they call it? be a methodology for it. So to get started, um, going to where is it again? So we're going to have our div, the class name of container. Now, I talked about the block, I talked about the modifier. So once again, going over this, the block is where was I? The block is the main component, that is like the parent component, and it can be named descriptively based on its purpose. You get so, and as I said, elements are children of blocks and are connected with a double underscore to the block's name. So let's see that. Oh no, BEM is not a concept in SAS, Jetro. Thank you for your question, Jetro. So it is a better way, should I say a cleaner way of writing HTML that makes it easier to style. All right. So you can still decide to write your normal HTML. Yes. You can still decide to write your normal HTML. But this just make it easy. I will explain why as we'll see why it is neat. It makes our work neat. In the example I'm about to show. Yes. So let's just go ahead. So we have our container. So since where was I? We have sidebar. So sidebar is obviously a child of the container. So maybe I'll just decide to name my this one. I'll start to say container sidebar. You get. So I'm referencing the parents. You get. So for the whole of this block with container, I'm going to make reference to the block while naming my classes. All right. So so you can see we have a UL here. So this UL is going to have a class of container container sidebar lists. So this is a modifier, right? List is the modifier. So it's just to say that there are other things in this sidebar. We are going to have UL, we are going to have LI, we are going to have A tags. There are other things we want to see in this sidebar. Do you get? So that's the reason why you use the modifiers. For example, now we have list. Inside our UL, we are going to have a list. And we are going to give that list a class container sidebar. You can decide to name it item, for example. You can decide to name this one item. I don't know if you get. When I'm done with this napa, I will ask questions to see, you know, how much we understand. Okay. Somebody wants to ask a question. So Isa, why exactly are you putting this on the chat? The chat is just to ask
Mom, on
questions and drop what you understand. All right, Michael. Good afternoon, Michael. Hello.
able to view anything. No.
You can't see anything. I think you're having network problems. Guys, can you see my screen? Can other
I'm
people see
unable
my
to view
screen? All right,
anything.
you know, said it's clear for me.
Yes, you can
And
see.
okay, I think you have a network issue because other people can see the screen.
I can
I
see
think
from
it's
here.
network. Probably you should, I don't know, refresh or
Yes,
something.
I'm unable to view anything. I'm not seeing anything actually. The
Yeah,
presentation is
yes, I think it's your network. I think it's your network. So Isaiah says CSS is a styling language that lets users create, design, and style various web pages. SCSS is a various special file type. It is SAS program that one writes needs to write the Ruby language. We generally use CSS in the da 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 da. Um, it's we are not writing Ruby language. I don't know where you got your information from. But CSS is not used to write Ruby language. I dropped the presentation. If you have questions about it, please don't drag us back. And resources were also dropped on the, on the group. You're not writing Ruby language. This is just SCSS. And as I said in the last class, SCSS looks programmatically typed. It looks like, something like that. It looks like you're writing a programming language. As I said, it is CSS on steroids, basically. So please, we are not writing Ruby language. We are still on CSS and HTML. I wouldn't mean, I don't know Ruby language. I don't know the syntax. I don't even know how it looks like. So calm down, please. Uh-huh. Um, but let's move forward, right? So now, when we go back, where was I? So you have your item, you get. So this is your list item. I think in the li we have what do we have? We have um let me see. Let me scrolling so much. In the li, yeah, we have the A tag, and inside the A tag, all right. Okay, so we have our anchor tag that leads to nowhere basically. And inside the anchor tag, I think we have, you know, icon. And then just as we did in the last class, I'm sure all of you will have this work by now. That's if you attended my class, you all have this, right? So let me copy and paste the icon that is here. So this is for fast far home, which is a font awesome icon, as I mentioned. So here we'll have home. So fast far home is how you use font awesome basically. All right, it's for font awesome. Um, so let's go and copy the rest. Let me just copy the rest so that we could. Let me see. Uh, let me copy the rest. Where was I? Uh, home destinations, status, contacts. All right, so we come below and paste. Let's see. All right. So for this, let me add the class name of let me control D this. Okay, I control D this. Let me add class name. Oh, sorry, class rather, not class name of container sidebar item. And then for this one, I'll just copy this one. Class of container sidebar item. Class container sidebar item. If you are doing this together with me, please just add a class of container __ sidebar hyphen double hyphen then item to all the lists elements. Yeah, so I think we have this covered. Let me go live, and you can already see them, here. All right. So where was I? So if we go back, let's continue. I think after our, what do they call it? After our list, we have the main content, right? So far, is there any question regarding what I just did? Is there any question regarding what I just did? All right, so no question. Okay, so moving forward, all right. So after this, where's the end of the div? Okay, the UL and the div. Where does this div go? People from container. All right, so I think after the UL and the first div, so in this div, we are going to have a main, and the main has a class of main contents. All right, so the main has a class of main content. So now we can see that main content is now, should I say, our new block is uh the new block. But then our container is this. Like, if you followed me last class, right? I'm not trying to explain the code. I'm just trying to use BM methodology to see how we can like write this better, basically. This is our container, and we are still in this div. In as much as we have main, we are in this div. So you can decide to treat main as a new block actually, and you can decide you don't want to treat main as a new block. I don't know how to describe it. You can decide you don't want to treat it as a new block. All right. So you can decide to do something like so let's give this a class of just as we had container sidebar, we'll give this container main. Say container main. So let me see. So inside here we have our nav. So in our nav we have a class of logo. We have okay, we have the input for this too. Let me just quickly write this so that we can style it with SCSS and also know how that works. Right. So a second. One of the hits today is something else, honestly. Alright, so now for our nav bar, we are going to give it a class of container __ nav. That's just what I want to give it. So let's say in this div, I'm going to say container __ nav logo. All right. So for the nav logo, I think we had Wanderlust Adventure. Yes. Outside of that div, what else did we have? We had the search container. So we could give this a class of we could give this a class of container and nav search. Right. So for this nav search, we have the inputs, and then we also have our this is not much. This is not much. We'll be done in no time. We have the inputs. So let's get that done. Where is it? The input is still inside the search container div. So we have inputs. It's an input of type text. Then we are going to give this a class container __ now. Let's say, what do we name this? Search bar. I just say search bar since the first one is search, right? Search bar. We also had a placeholder of search destinations. I think that was all for our inputs, and our icon, which I'll copy from here. It was the icon for the search icon from what did they call it? Font Awesome. I think I also showed us how to get Font Awesome in last upper class. Last upper class. Okay, so moving on, I think the next one we have after the nav is the slideshow. Right? So below our nav bar, not outside of the menu, we have div of class. Let's say container. See, making reference to the container. All right. So slideshow. So in our slideshow, we have images. We have 3 images, which I'll just copy their links. Get them pasted. What's going on? So this is here. So I think that is all. We have 3 images and the end of the div. 3 images and then the end of the div. Then this one, we have agency name. Since we are still we are still using our, should I say, what do they call it? Making use of our container as the block, would say so this is what again agency name. Please try to give this a class of container underscore underscore agents. Example. I think in that agency we have a H2 which we could call give the class of container agency title. And we could, what do we name it? Welcome to Wanderlust Adventures. Okay. So that's that. And then I think we also have a P tag of the, so this P tag, it has explore. Well, let me just copy this. You just copy this, explore the world with us. So for this, I could still give it a class since it is under title, like this is under agency, one of the. So we'll give it a modifier. This is a modifier basically. So container agency, let's see description. All right. So I think after this, done. This we have description. What else? What else? Let me see. Welcome to Wanderlust Adventures. Okay. So we now have a main card. So let me just copy this whole main card. I want us to be done so that we can really give a good recap of all we've done. So main card is closing here. Okay, so it's Wanderlust Adventure. What was this for? I'm trying to see what I use this for. Welcome to Wonder. Embark on a journey of blah blah blah. Create memories that you would not forget. Dream vacation. All right. So I think this was on after this day. I think. Let me check. Where is this starting from? Yes, below the div. All right. That's below the div. So we'll give this a class name of container main. Site called container main card. That's for main card. So for this one, you say container class container underscore. Sorry, this is main card, not it's not a modifier, please. So we could give it a modifier of title. And then for this one too, we could give it description. Description. is wrong? What is wrong here? Why is this showing red? See how it's showing an error. Where is this error coming from? What's the problem? What's the issue? Trying to find why PTI is showing an error. Let me see. It will not show you the problem. I don't think it's showing. Nine. Yeah, here. I think it's in my eyes. It's not here. That's the problem with this thing that PCI is showing. Let me see if everything is covered well. Main card is covering at the end there. Okay, yes, our main card. You don't have a closing div for it. So you have a closing div for our main card. Let me see, let me see. Yes. I hate this thing. But then I copied everything. Let me just everything is all right here. So what's the problem? After here, it started showing error. If I save this works. Container underscore main tags description. Okay. Hey. Somebody is asking, is it them you are using in the HTML? We are writing HTML, but then we are using BEM methodology. My laptop is charging now. You almost shut down. We are using BEM methodology for to write our HTML, and I spoke about it in the other class. But we are just naming our classes in a way that it will be easy for us to style when it's time to style. Basically, all right. So I'll explain why when we start styling. So we have this. So for all our p tags, let me add this class. All right. So class Control V. What's happening? Copy this. Yeah, okay. Class. Okay. So let me just stop writing for now and let me just get to styling. So you understand what I'm trying to say. So for our CSS, we talk about CSS, so SCSS in the last class. We talked about how to use variables in SCSS in our last class. So for our SCSS, let me go back to this slide and look for that on variables. So as I said, variables in SCSS allow you to make reusable values such as colors, font, or dimensions, thereby making your style sheets more maintainable. All right. So now for what do I call it? For our variables in this. Okay. Just as we did the last time, this is primary color. So let's come here and then this is primary color. Let's see. Correct. So let me just copy and paste all of these and Control C. Dollar sign. This is how to use variables for those that were in the last class. If you're not in the last class, I dropped enough resources and slides so that we'll all, check it out. Correct. So this is our variables now. So we spoke about imports in the last class. All right. So now I don't want this in my main styles.scss. Do you get? So I'm going to create a new file where I'm going to take all these variables and keep it there so I can import it into my main file. So let me say variables.scss. So if you notice, it started with an underscore. So these underscores are called partials. What are partials? Let's go back. So partials allow you to split your CSS into smaller modular files, while at imports allows you to include them in the main style sheets. Partials are typically named with an underscore, e.g. header.scss, to indicate that they should not be compiled directly. I spoke about this in the last class. If you're using a partial, it is to say, oh, I don't want this to compile into CSS. Just because, for example, that when we created our styles.scss, there is a CSS file already created for us. So as I said, it's a preprocessor that compiles into HTML, into CSS. Get. So that's that. So I'll just bring all my variables here. Oh, Control C. Where am I? All right. So I'll remove them from here and then I'll paste it here. So after I'm done pasting it here, I'll just come to my styles.scss and import it. So I'll import it and say /variables.scss. So now we can use any of the variables there. I use any of the variables here in our main style without it being in the folder, because we're able to, without it being in the file, because we're able to, like, import it into it. Okay, so I think that's how best I can describe it. So far, is there any question? Does anybody have any question? Or we should go ahead? All right, let's get to styling our SCSS. All right. So first of all, we have, what do they call it? We have our universal selector. So universal selector is the same everywhere. Let me just copy this. And I told you what universal selectors do, if I'm not mistaken. I spoke about in the second class how browsers automatically add paddings and margins for us. So we just use it as a way to say whatever the browser has added, please don't add it. Want a very blank, should I say, workspace before we start. All right, so let me save this. And then let's go back and see what we have. So we have body styles, and let me just copy everything from the body, because this one is also the same. All right, this one is also the same. So let me see, is there any color? Okay, now for our background color, we can say we want it to be BG color, I think, CBG color. Yes, and we want this to be text color. I don't think this is how you use variables. Yeah, use variables like this. This is how you use variables in SCSS. Right, so if I save this now and I go back, where is this my file? Wait, does it have, what do we use? Background color, BG color. Why is BG color not showing on the body? And then we also want it to have okay, so why is the background color not showing? Let me see. But this is an example to show that, oh, this is compiling into you know, SCSS already. It's already compiling into CSS rather. So this, you can come into your CSS file and check that out already. All right. Let's move on with styling basically. So if we come to our code pen, we see that we have the style for container. So what we styled in the last class, we did not use BM methodology when we started. I'm going to show you how the difference when you use BM methodology in your HTML and you want to style it in CSS to get. So for this container now, let's copy the whole style in container. For example, so we'll style this here, and then yeah, we'll style this here. And so the next thing we want to style, we styled here, is sidebar. And then let's go back to our CSS, our HTML rather. We wanted to style the sidebar. We named it container underscore underscore sidebar, which is a, should I say, child of container. So to style that here, we'll just come. And I told you about nesting and how nesting works in, how nesting works in CSS. All right. So we'll just come, and here we'll start with an ampersand underscore underscore sidebar. So let me just copy all the styles that are in sidebar, and then I'll paste it here. If I come to my CSS where it is compiled into, I can see I have style for, and that is something it does with SCSS. It automatically gives you WebKits styling for older browsers, you get, right? So you can see you have your container underscore underscore sidebar as the class and container too. But since we are used to nesting, yeah, now you write with SCSS and you're used to how nesting works. You can just nest it here. So let me see the next thing we are styling here. So we are styling the sidebar UL. If we come to our HTML, you can see that we named the class name is container sidebar dash dash lists. All right. So we'll come here, and since the list is also a child of sidebar, you just say ampersand underscore dash dash lists. And to save time, we'll just copy. I think for the list, you only have list style type none. So if we come to our CSS, you can see it is nicely, it is nicely styled, like get it's compiling well. For you to know that your SCSS is wrong, when you come to your CSS and see how it's compiling, it's easy for it to know, oh, I'm on the wrong path. You get, so that's that. All right. What else? What else? What else? What else? We have the li that is here, and then for our li, we named it sidebar container sidebar item. That is to say, it is a child, a direct child of the sidebar, and the list is just a modifier. So if we come here, under the sidebar, in the in the curly braces of the sidebar, not that of the list, we come here and add, what did we call the uh, item, right? Let me go back and copy. I think margin bottom 15 pixels. You get, right? So moving forward, we now have this our a tag, our anchor tag, correct? So come here. What class did we give? We give our anchor tag a class. I think I want to give it a class. So let me say class of container sidebar let's say link, for example. You could use link, and then we'll come here, and inside the sidebar, like you can see you have different colors. So inside here, not inside here. If you write it inside item, it becomes a direct child of item. So you just come here and say link. And then your link, if I go back, let me just copy all the code for this. Control C, and then I paste it here. Okay. So let me change this to text color. Then saved. Right. So if I come here, I can see my navbar link. I can see it here. Wait, let me go back. I made a mistake. I'm not supposed to wait to. Maybe am I doing something wrong? See success. So you can see my color here that's compiled. And then yeah. So that's that. You can see it here. So I think that was the style. Okay, on hover. You have a hover effect for it too. So can somebody tell me how you think we are going to style um this hover effect? What do you think? If you've been following, how do you think? If you don't answer, I will call names. So that means you have questions, right? So how do you think I'm going to add hover effect? Where do you think I'm going to nest it? Please, somebody should answer. Hey, Evo.
This, the hover is still within the nav bar now, and is
Okay, let's
under.
go here. So you can see here, we have
Yes,
our sidebar ULLIA. So how do you think I'm going to style? Where am I going to style this hover? Where am I going to add this hover effect to in our code? This is our work. So where do you think I'm going to add it to? You know, I call this is the UL, this is the LI, and this is the anchor tag, right?
is at the link, because that's
Okay,
what I
the
said.
link.
Yeah.
Yeah. So inside the link, I will just say another ampersand and add my, this is hover. This is hover, and then on hover, what do I want again? What's hover effect? Control C, and then I paste it here. So if I go back to my styles.css, I can see there has been the hover effect is now there. So thank you very much, Jethro, for answering the question. Thank you very much. Let me go and see my work. Okay. You can see this is already coming nicely together. It's already looking all right. What is wrong with the home link? Did I not link it? Let me go and check. Oh, what is the
You
problem?
only gave the home link a class.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Let me just copy out this class and paste it on all of them. Okay. All right. I've pasted it on all of them. Thank you very much for the. So if we go back here, we can see how all of them are all, looking. They all have the. Why is this one's text bigger? What is happening? Let's see. Let me check. Oh, fast far home. And I gave it sidebar list. I don't even know what's wrong here. Sidebar item. Am I doing something wrong? Ah, because this one's text is looking very different from the others. And I don't know where this is coming from. I mean, where did I write this thing? Yes. I think I'm writing it inside the icon. Control X. Yeah. Why the rest? I wrote it. Uh, yeah. Yes. Now we have it all sorted out. Better. All right. So moving on. The next we want to style is our where are we? 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 Let's okay, quote them. We want to style this main content. And for this main content, if you come to our HTML, we use container main. So now this main is now a direct child of you know, the container. So we'll still nest it here inside the container. It's going to be nested here. Let's go and look for. You can see this line of indentation is going down. Yes, it stops here. So here we'll say main. All right. So let's get our stuff and then paste it here. All right. So I think that's what mean. So here too, we also have container underscore now, which is also a child of the container, and it's not a child of main, it's a child of container. All right. So let's see. What did we call it now? You just paste code, and then for the logo, yes, under nav, and it's a modifier of nav. So come and say logo. So let me copy out the whole code for this. Let me paste it here. All right. So what's the next one we need to start now? The search container. So our search container, if we go back, is this one. This is div here with the search. So it's also a nav modifier. So just go and see inside our nav, outside of the logo. We'll say search. So just position of relative. And then what's the next one we start? Then the search bar. So our search bar, we named it search bar too. I think it's still under nav. Yeah, container nav search bar. So outside of this, we'll say search bar. And we'll just copy all the code for this. Just copy this. Paste it here. Okay. So I think for this one, let me change this color. So this is the accent color. And then for this one, it's going to be a text color, all right? So What else? What else? What else? So we have the search bar, and then on search bar we have focus. So inside our search bar, we'll just come here and say focus. So on focus, we go and get what we want it to be, and then we paste it. So the next one we have is for placeholder. So inside this placeholder still, not in the focus one, oh, you will nest it again and say placeholder. The style for placeholder should be this color. So that's that. And then you have the search icon. And what's the search icon? What's the search icon? Okay. It was this eye that was search icon. No. Let it be a how would I used to name this one now? How would I name this one? This search icon. Let me think. Let me say search container. Wait. Let's say container underscore nav, and then search icon. I think that's what I'll name it to. I could do that. Yeah. There's also a modifier of the nav. Underscore nav. That's the search icon. What's happening? Okay, let me close this for the braces. Yeah, so for the search icon, this is the code for it. So under the nav still, because if we're writing stuff in the nav, it has this purple one. So still in the nav, dots, I say dots. Under search icon, Control V, and save. So I think the next styling we had, I'm just trying to convert this to SCSS as much as possible. I think let me go back to our own work. You can see it's looking the same. It does not change. It's just a more, should I say, clean way to write it, like very, very clean. It organizes your work like a lot. Like it organizes your work. I think I'll just stop here for now. Let me ask if there's any question. Does anybody have any question? Do you understand how nesting works? All right, so people don't live. Okay, Divine. Your question, please. Divine, do you have a question? All right, it doesn't. All right. So, okay, it was a mistake. All right. So that's that. You can see how we nested all those things just together. Like it makes your work easy to, should I say, for me, it makes it easy to read. You know which is a child of which, and like working with BM methodology and SCSS it just eases the whole thing. You get, makes it easy to understand. Okay. So we talked about mixins the other day. Can anybody remember when we talked about mixing? All right. So for those that can't remember, yeah, Ruben and Jethro really asked questions in the last class. So let's go to mixins. All right. Let me see. So I thought, as I said in the last class, mixins allow you to create reusable blocks of style or calculations. Mixins can include groups of CSS properties, while functions return values. So in this example, the mixin allows us to define reusable button styles and stuff like that. So let me see if there's a mixin that we'll need. Yeah. Let me see if there's anyone that requires us to have a mixin. But I don't even think there's any mixing requirements here. I don't think there's anyone. But just as we saw in the last class, this is what mixing the syntax looks like and stuff. Yes. So, all right. So for those that don't understand, I heard some people don't completely understand SCSS. Please, what exactly about it don't you understand? So let me go back, and I think now we can get a refresh of it. Isa that does not. Isa, are you still on the call? All right, Ruben.
Would you be able to add animation in this SCSS?
Definitely. SCSS even allows you to add. When you look at CodePen, I'm coming. I think CodePen has a lot of pens where you can see what people do. Sometimes you can see a lot of complex. Let me go and see if I can find one of those complex animations from SCSS. Like you would think it's a programming language they are saying, but no, it's just CSS. Then what we are doing now is just scratching the surface. For example, now this little animation we had translates why it's just CSS basically, right? It's just were you around when we did this Flexbox tutorial?
I used to attend the first class, not the second.
Okay, so attend the first class.
Yes, yes.
Okay, if you are around, we did the what do they call it? We used the what do they call it? Sef? We used the can you hear me? I think
Yes, I
my
can hear
network.
you.
Okay. I thought something happened to my network. So we use the Flexbox to create a website. So now we're just basically trying to show how would I put it now? We're not trying to show how we can use SCSS for that. And it's just nesting, we've not even like touched surface of complex animation or from let me see if I can find what's happening to network. Guys, give me a second. I think my Wi-Fi just got disconnected. Give me a second. I'm coming. Uh, All right, so yes, that's that. Where were we? So let me go and check it out. Let me look for an example of what I'm talking about. Let me see. This is animations. Let me see. Let me look for one complex one. Let me see this. I'm hoping it's not JavaScript, it's SCSS that was used. Okay, JavaScript was also used. Nah, JavaScript was used for most of the styling. It's just CSS, it's not SCSS. I'm coming. Let me try to look for one to explain the let's see. Let me see if this one is SSS. No, but I'm trying to find. There was one I saw. All right, let me see. Does this have complex animation? Wait, let me check. I sent one link to somebody or one of them that I saw. Give me a second, guys.
Divine,
I'm waiting.
please just posted the attendance link in the comment section so you guys to check it.
All right. Please, guys, check the attendance link and fill the attendance. All right. So, okay. Let me see. I think it's HTTPS. Okay. Hotel .io/ or what's a global /ed/o. Let me see. Yeah, let me look for that. This is it. Now, first of all, you can see he's using a math function in this essence. Let me show you what his work does basically. Can you all see my screen? Let me go back. Can you see my screen? Okay, the attendance is not responding. Let me see if I can. I'm pin this. Pin this. So this is what the animation is supposed to do. Normally, if I was to do this, even myself, I would use what do they call it? I would use probably maybe JavaScript will also use, but I will not think of using CSS for this kind of complex animation, because if you know how animations work, you can see how behind it looks. You can see how on each scroll the background changes. Like it's just, I was looking at it the other day and I was like, wow, this is really, really lovely. So you can see that he also used this Sass math. It's like one of the Sass. Let me go and let's see the documentation safe. Where are we? Listen. Sass math. Coming. Let me see the use. Arrows. Arrows. use, right? So the use rule load mixing functions, variables, and other style sheets. You get, I also have built-in modules. So that's as math, one of the built-in module for it. And then for example, you can see it sets variables for card count, the step distance, and like if you can go through this code, you can see how complex it actually does look. For example, you can see all this. You can see it look you assume it's a programming language. Look at this
Oh,
mixing.
excuse me, guys. I just
Yeah.
updated the attendance link, so try it again and see if it will work.
Okay. Let me unpin this one and pin this one. There we go. So that means
Please,
I'll
if you
start
encounter
filling
any
this.
issue, let me know.
Okay. Guys, you are hearing, right? Means I'll start filling this attendance link so that I'll be getting data support. All right. So let me pin this. So where were we? So you can see the mathematics that is going on here for this. You will not think to use CSS for this, but because you have tools like SCSS, it makes it easier to should I say get that done and stuff. Ruben, can you see the screen to look at what I was showing you? Yes, so a lot of complex animations can actually be used. All right, so where was I? So I'll go over because a lot of people were not around. Like I don't think Isa is on the call anymore, but a lot of people were not around. And let me try to still give an overview of SCSS. So as I mentioned in the last class, Sass, which is syntactically awesome style sheet, is a CSS preprocessor that extends the capabilities of traditional CSS by providing advanced features such as variables, such as nesting, functions, mixins, and control directives. All right, Jethro.
Yes, ma. Please, can you just ask us if anybody is left behind? Because I don't think anybody here is new to the concept, so that we can.
Okay.
Please follow.
Please, is anybody new to this concept? Or we're all in the last class? All right, Divine, you are new to the concept. All right, so who else? Okay, it's just Divine. All right. Let me see. Who else? Just Divine. Okay.
We can go back for the sake of divine, ma.
Yeah, let's just go back. Like today is just like this basics on how you can use SCSS, but I don't want to deep dive into SCSS because it's too. Some of them have this, should I say, um, I said he had this programming looking concept. So if you are just new and you just understand HTML and CSS, just take mixing, nesting, and those basic ones. You can use it for now because it was like go further into it. It's actually not, very easy. So Divine, I think you also joined us late. If you can see my screen, I shared this Google documentation presentation. So please go and check it out so that we'll follow it together. In the last class, I shared it so that we can all follow. So please click the link, it's pinned to the dialogue section, dialogue box. You can just put it out together. So I talked about the Sass syntax. I talked about the SCSS syntax. The Sass syntax is an indented syntax. It looks something like this. So people that created Sass, it was not easy for developers to, adopt the let's say, preprocessor language easier, because as you can see, you cannot even, it's difficult to read, you get. So they introduced SCSS. So SCSS is just a syntax that makes it look like CSS. So if you can see this, in as much as there's nesting going on, you can still see that it looks very much like CSS. Yes. So, as I said, the origin of Sass was in 2006 and stuff. I think you can skip those. And introduction of SCSS syntax, yes. So I talk about the benefits of using preprocessors, right? So you can have the benefits of writing variables. You can store and reuse values like colors and fonts. And like the last class, we saw that CSS also has its own, should I say, variables, right? So what's the difference between CSS variables and SCSS variables? I talked about how, as at the time SCSS was created, I think as at 2006, CSS did not have variables at the time. There was no variables in CSS. So it's with additional updates that CSS was able to add in the variable option. And then with time, there was also an option to add variables with the root pseudo class at the top of your CSS content. All right. So CSS it's still a great language. There's no language that does not have updates with regularly. There are still updates and stuff with CSS. Yes. So you can also have nesting. So nesting allows you to write more readable and structured styles, just as we just showed now with our what do we call it? Our Wanderlust website that we created in the video. We saw how to use it. We saw how to style it with SCSS, and we saw the nesting, the amount of nesting that was going on. And we talked about mixins. So mixins, like I said in the last class, are blocks of code or styles, basically, that you can use across different components. I dropped resources on this on the Discord channel. So Discord. So please, on the resource channel, please check it out. All right. So we also have functions. So functions perform calculations or manipulate styles dynamically. And then there's partials and imports, which organize styles into multiple files for maintainability. So partials and imports is, just as I said, is an example of a partial. So we have our variables that was stored here. we don't want it to compile directly to CSS since we are still going to link it or import it to our main styles or SCSS file. We don't want it to what do I say? We don't want it to completely compile to CSS. So we made it a partial by adding an underscore before writing the name, all right, dot SCSS. It does not compile to CSS. It's just there because we are going to import it into our style and going to, should I say, work from there. Right? Kind of still have time because we still have to do a recap of all the learning today, right? So we also have our mixins. Sorry, we also have okay, I think that's all. By using preprocessors, developers can write more manageable, scalable, and modular codes by still outputting standard CSS. So as I said, SCSS is not a must. It's not a must that you use SCSS. You can still write your normal vanilla CSS if you prefer. You can still use Tailwind, all right? But yeah, so that's that. So why SCSS became popular? SCSS became popular because than the original Sass due to its CSS compatibility and easier transition for developers. There's an easy syntax CSS compatibility, and then it retains traditional CSS syntax such as curly braces, semicolons, and also selectors. This means that any valid CSS file is also a valid SCSS file. So that's that. If your CSS is valid, if your SCSS is valid, your CSS is still valid. Like as I said, if it's compiling, for you to know you've made a mistake in calling a class or something, you can just go to your styles.css where it is compiling into and check, and you can see, whatever mistake or whatnot it is that you are making. Okay. So wider tooling support, SCSS syntax has broad support in modern web development tools such as Webpack and Go. So this ensures seamless integration into existing workflows. So flexibility, SCSS provides all the features of Sass, but with a more flexibility, since it allows developers to choose between writing plain CSS and also advanced SCSS features. All right. So it's a very flexible language. So for those that were wondering, because I wrote this, because you might be wondering, they just taught us Tailwind. Why are they introducing SCSS all of a sudden? And as I said, it's not compulsory. You can start to write Tailwind. You can start to write your vanilla CSS. You can start to write SCSS, like what works for you. But as I said, for languages, when you start writing like Next.js and React.js, for example, it's encouraged. Yeah, because that is what is even more, should I say, popular among developers. Use Tailwind, but you can still choose because I personally prefer writing SCSS. All right. So the difference between Tailwind CSS and SCSS is that Tailwind is a utility-first CSS framework. We saw the utilities last week, and we saw how to make use of these utilities. So CSS preprocessor that extends CSS capabilities, that is SCSS. As I mentioned, it is CSS on steroids. Things you think you might not be able to use CSS for, you'll be able to make use of it because of SCSS. Right? So Syntax, Tailwind uses a utility classes directly in the HTML markup. And then for SCSS, it uses SCSS syntax, which is variable nesting etc in the SCSS files. So the design approach is that Tailwind encourages atomic design, that is small, reusable utility class for each style. And for SCSS, it encourages separation of concerns. So if you're like me and you don't like how Tailwind is written inline, you get your HTML, you can make use of SCSS, for example, you get. So that's that. So for the customization, Tailwind is highly customizable with Tailwind's configuration file, and then SCSS requires defining custom styles through SCSS features like variables and mixing. And then the learning curve, it is simple to start with, as the developers just add utility classes in HTML. While for SCSS, it is more complex, requiring knowledge of SCSS features like variables, mixins, and nesting. Just as I mentioned in the last class, it's actually difficult, but then once you understand it, you actually like it. So for those that were in the last class, did you go and did you go back to study SCSS? If you did, just send a reaction if you're able to go back and study SCSS. Okay, so Chuku Obed, Jethro were the only ones, and Ruben were the only ones that went back to um study more about SCSS. So for Chuku Obed, are you there on the call?
Yes, I mean,
Okay, so after studied SCSS, do you like the syntax now, or is this something that you find difficult to understand?
no, the syntax is not actually difficult. It's
Yeah.
a kind of you are writing native CSS, but with additional features in it. So it's just to apply the additional feature in your native CSS knowledge to improve it. That is just it.
Mm.
Then, if you kind of have a little bit knowledge of the function part of it and math part of it, you can kind of
Yeah.
minimize the use of breakpoint when writing media queries and all those stuff.
Yes, thank you very, very, very much, Chuku Obed. So that means you did this assignment. Where's my let me take note. Chuku Obed, Jethro, and Ruben. I don't know where Farouk went to. Farouk, you're not in my class today. Okay, I'm coming. Let me just pen something down. Give me a second. Okay, so I think we're both in my 2 classes for this week. And you also have then look up. All right, okay. So for Jethro, are you on the call? And can
Yes,
you hear
ma.
me?
I'm on the call.
Okay, so what did you get from like learning about SCSS? Is it a syntax that you're able to understand?
Okay, on Tuesday, when I joined the class on Tuesday, right? The concept was looking like rocket science to say, but when
Yeah.
I went back, I gave it time and I noticed that it was precise, and then it is a concept that if you actually get your hands on them, you can actually use it for complex and large projects, and then
Yeah,
it makes your
complex
work,
black project.
it makes your work more cleaner, and then you get precise styling, because in our vanilla CSS, sometimes
Yeah.
using selectors, combinators, and all, sometimes you hardly target a particular content that you want to. But
Yeah.
with nesting, if you know the concept of nesting, it is easier. It is just like the way your HTML is, you just follow it and style it the way it is. So it is a nice concept. In the morning class, they asked us this same question. I think I was the one that I love SCSS, and I really want to see how I can work with it. So I will really do more research on it to get more acquaintance with the concept so that I can use it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This is lovely. Thank you. When when I started learning to Chuko bed, I'll give you time to like talk. I'm coming, let me just say something. So when I started learning SCSS too, it was rocket science too. If I tell you that it took me, because then I was not even introduced to how node modules work and stuff like that, it took me about a month to understand actually, because I was actually a slow learner, just starting. But since I understood it, it just makes it like super easy. You get, and it makes you conscious. Especially when you start using the DM methodology, which is why I stopped it. It makes you conscious of the parent-child, should I say the parent-child, should I say interaction, so that you know what classes are useless. You know what classes to actually style properly and stuff. It's actually nice. It's actually very, very nice. Thank you very much, Jetsu. So Chuku Obed, you wanted to say something?
Okay, there is a piece, there is this math that I kind of have been trying to solve with normal CSS. Although I solve this with normal CSS, but it's a kind of making my code to belong. Like when you are building some project, you know that REM and PS, REM helps you when you want to build a responsible design. Like PS, I kind of they are a kind of would I call them absolute or relative unit? I don't know. So, but back then, I normally convert everything to REM. You know, like it's a kind of it causes stress. Like anytime you want to include a PX, you just bring your calculator. Like if you want to include like 10 PX, you divide it by 16, that kind of stuff. But with the SCSS now, with the Sass.math function, there is this function that I practiced earlier yesterday about
Yeah.
using functions and math.diff in SAS to convert it directly to RAM. So all I just need is, if I want to input
Yeah.
20 RAM, I will just call the function and pass the argument and pass the px value inside the function to automatically convert it to RAM.
You can hear me clapping. This is lovely, honestly. I don't want to talk about the math inbuilt function. I don't want to talk about the math function because a lot of people, like,
These
maybe
guys
by the
they
time you
hot.
get to, you say?
As in they hot. Like these guys are
Honestly,
they're on fire.
honestly, I'm so glad, like, guy.
Please, we know that we are getting somewhere.
Honestly, don't worry. I've written their name. Acting students. Yeah, it's actually very, very, very lovely. It's really lovely, honestly. I didn't want to teach it because I'm not supposed to like even teach that far because it might get very complicated. So just the basics, you're supposed to go and read more about it and understand it. Yeah. So thank you very much for doing that. Yeah, this is very, very lovely. Okay, Jethro.
Yes, in the morning session I asked the question, but I think I will need more clarity on it still.
Okay.
When we are talking about variables. We know we have global variables and then the local variables.
How very good.
Then I came across this global switch, and then a local variable was a yes, a global variable was declared, and then within a code block, a local variable was now declared and then switched to global. So I was asking if there a need for switching it. Why can't we just leave it at the global state? Why do we need to
Yeah,
switch it? Yes. So I was looking for how the use cases for this kind of scenarios, like
with
the use
with
case.
SCSS, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Me that I even asked, I don't think I've actually seen that being done with SCSS. Actually, I've not seen it. But you can actually probably chat me up later, and I'll see exactly what you're talking about. I don't want to give an answer on something I don't know much about. So please, you can actually chat me up or on the group chat, on
Yes,
the
I'll do that
general
later.
group chat. Yeah, you can
Yes.
do that. You can do that.
Mm.
Yeah, you can do that. Ah, okay. So Ruben, are you on call? All right. I need you to talk, please. Oh, you have to talk. Okay, you don't want to say anything. Okay, okay,
No,
okay, okay, okay. All right.
when I read your documentation, it was
Yeah.
it was it was very nice
Okay. My
because
documentation.
yeah, the one that you dropped the link.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay,
So after
so
reading it, I saw that the thing was not too complex because from on the Tuesday class that they were reading it for us, it was a bit scary. But
yeah, that is why when I started my own class, I remember saying the reason why I created this slide is that a lot of the code, a lot of the examples that were on the documentations, where it's not so simple that you can understand. I don't know what is wrong with the person that created that documentation. Maybe I can. I'll go and look for their page and tell them I want to write their documentation for them. The documentation is quite complex, right? So as I created that slideshow to make it as simple as possible, you guys, for us to
yeah,
understand. Yeah. Okay, so what was your experience using it?
ah, the thing is very nice using it. But me, I still prefer using Tailwind to the SCS.
Yeah, it's a very nice preference, honestly. It's a very nice preference. We usually debate over it from time to time, so it's nice, it's nice. So thank you very much, Ruben, for your input, and it's nice to know that people are following it. Okay, Chuku Obed, you want to say something?
Okay, he was talking about documentation being confusing. You know, the like from what I'm from when I learned, I visited their documentation. They actually some like something like variables and mixing and all those stuff. They give three like CSS, SCSS, and normal Sass. So you can,
Yeah,
if you look at the top of the example, you can either switch to put in any of them. If you don't understand the concept of this one,
yeah.
you can switch to this
Okay,
one.
okay,
So
Chuku Obed,
when using it,
I'm guessing you have programming knowledge beforehand, right?
no, like I haven't tried CSS. I don't understand CSS before, but it's just in this class that I went back, but I haven't.
Okay.
With a little bit of
Okay.
JavaScript knowledge.
Okay. But for people that I feel like it's just their first time, it might actually be much more difficult for them to understand. But he's actually right. if you go to the documentation, you can see where you can switch. You can see how it looks like for normal SCSS. I can also see how it looks like for CSS. Okay, Issa, do you have something to say? Issa, do you have something you want to say? All right. So I'm assuming.
No,
Funny enough, me, I don't know how to use SCSS. I've not learned it before, and I think I'm fine with Tailwind.
Yeah, a lot of people actually like Tailwind. It's actually all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused on this SCSS.
Okay, Issa, we
Yes,
went back to talk about SCSS, and I noticed that you were not on the call because I asked on the
yeah,
call
the network,
who is the person that don't understand. So I've gone
So,
over it again, and you were not around.
no, yeah, you told
So
me
just
after.
go to Discord and look at the resources. I gave video resources, documentation resources. You'll be able to catch up. I don't want to go back again and again. All right.
Okay, don't worry, I'll check it
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
So for people like for me, but so people use Tailwind to create a lot of great things. Basically, people use Tailwind to create great things. But I feel like it's more confining than SCSS is just like your normal CSS, just that you're writing it in a more better and should I say optimized version. You get. So Tailwind for me is more confining. It's actually fast, honestly. If you have a very, very simple layout, Tailwind is fast. But for complex things, it's actually not really, really, really nice on my own end. All right. So that's why I prefer SCSS. Okay. But you can actually do anyone. I do the two, but I prefer using SCSS. All right. So Chukwuobe, do you have something you want to say? Chukwuobe.
Please shut down your speaker, please.
Okay. I think he doesn't have anything to say. All right. So the rest of this class is going to actually be pretty interactive. So let's give a short recap on what we did. So can anybody tell me what they remember we did in the first week of our class? Anybody?
You talk about first week. That's the HTML and CSS. Can Are you
Yeah, I
talking
can hear you.
about
I can hear you.
are you talking about the HTML or CSS?
No, the first week. What did we do on Tuesday and what did we do on Thursday? If you can remember.
Our first week of the class. You mean the first week of our classes?
You say?
The first week of our classes.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about introduction, nothing much.
Okay.
Mhm.
So can anybody else remember? Okay, so basically,
Introduction on how to get started with VS Code and the rest.
yeah, we talked about how to get started with VS Code. We talked about how to start HTML.
And there's installation and everything.
Yeah.
The installation and everything. Yes.
Yeah.
How to add image and all that stuff on HTML.
Yeah. That was what we did in the first class.
Yes.
And then by the second class, which was still in the first week, we had how to get started with CSS. And I remember a lot of us were confused because we were like, is it that we are not going
Yes.
to touch HTML again?
Yes.
So for those, yeah. So
Yeah. Right.
So, Issa, I think you're one of those people. So now, would you say you understand fully?
Do you
Okay.
mean the do you mean the SCSS or the CSS?
No, I mean CSS. I'm having a recap of all we've done. So for
No.
week 1, because you had a complaint that are you
My
sure
first
that we are
time.
going to go back to, but like
Yeah.
now, do you think you understand it?
Now I have no for now. I have no problem with CSS. I can create a website CSS.
Okay.
I have no problem
Okay.
with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Issa. Thank you very much. So I think we are all cool with week 1, right? Okay. Okay.
So sometimes if I code using code pin, but I am
Code pen.
yes.
Okay.
Oh, the difference between code pin and just your code. Can you tell me the difference, please?
Okay. Code pen basically is mostly a code pen is a website, and code pen is a website that get how will I put it? Where you can showcase your work. I think it just works with front end basically. So we decided to create a
Okay.
playground. A
Yes, I can see
playground
it
where you
now.
can come to work. So in case you want to see a developer's work, you can just check it out basically on CodePen. I think it's also a repository too.
Sometimes I use Kotlin. It works perfectly, but whenever I use Visual Studio Code, I'm having issue with it.
Okay, you have issues with visual. Okay,
Yes.
Chukwobed, you have something to say?
Don't know. I don't know whether it's the program.
About the code stuff.
Hmm.
Can I speak?
Yeah. I'm listening.
It's about the guy that asked about code pen. He just an online ID. Online ID.
Yeah,
Are you
just
hearing
put
me?
it that way.
Yes.
An
Any
online
online
ID.
ID that does most features is just to link your HTML to run HTML online. But Visual Studio Code is more of a giant
Yes,
ID, and also
I am
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
whenever I use Visual Studio Code, I'm having issue with it. But whenever I'm using Kotlin, I have no issue with it.
Okay, you know that you can actually send whatever issues you're having to the group, and your issues will actually be answered. You can reach out to any of the sub mentors, and your issues would actually be
Yeah.
resolved.
So
Yeah, right?
sometimes I got to switch. You use Eclipse. Eclipse.
No, I don't.
Okay. I use Eclipse to do programs now.
All right, no problem. But if you have any issue with Visual Studio Code, you can always, ask. All right. Okay, so moving on. Who can remember what we did in our second week? Who can remember what we did in the second week? Okay, Chuku. Okay, Jethro. All right.
Okay, I think
Jethro.
I think we started learning Flexbox.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we did that project, and then we tried. Yes, I think that was it. The second week
Yeah.
we did
Yeah.
the project.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Ruben. You wanted to say something?
No, Jethro has said it.
Okay. So for our second class, so for our second week, we looked at Flexbox. For the first class, we looked at Flexbox concept, read the documentation. We had little code examples. I think for the second class, we built the project. I think we also talked a little bit on grid, and I think there was a mix-up. So my class didn't really have grid session because the previous class had, CSS grid like fully, something like that. So Does anybody have any issues when it comes to Flexbox and grid at the moment? So everybody understands Flexbox now. Okay, everybody understands grids too. All right. So I'm assuming everybody does since I don't get any response. So for week 3, that was last week, what did we talk about? Who can remember? All right, Ruben, go ahead.
We talked about tailwind. Can you hear me?
So for yeah, I can hear you. So
We
yeah,
talked about tailwind.
yeah, okay. So yeah, we talked about tailwind CSS too. Okay. I did not even okay. Let me go back to week 2. So let me ask questions about week 2. So for Flexbox, can anybody tell me what they understand that Flexbox does? And why do you think it is important to use Flexbox? All right, Chukwu.
Okay, I'm actually outside. I think
Okay.
Flexbox is a type of two-dimensional layout algorithm that's understanding. Uh, it's important to use Flexbox when kind of you want to create a layout where you want the two charts to be in kind of
Yeah,
maintain the same column actually.
yeah.
To say that Flexbox is a column based. I know that when you have multiple child and you use first wrap, you can also create a role, but still yet they are also maintaining the column whatever.
No, you can see we use it as a row. For example, the project we did, our navigation bar was completely Flexbox. We flexed the navigation bar, and then Chukwu, but I see raising your hand or okay, all right. So we flexed the navigation bar and we justified content to space between. Then we added margins for both sides. If we're to use regular float layout, so you have to say float left, margin this, adding that, like it's actually more complicated. And then when it's also time to when it's time to make it responsive, it's actually worse. It is worse. If you want to make a navigation bar responsive and it was a row structure, all you have to do is say flex column like Sikina, and just you can add few styles. But if you were to use float layout, it's really not easy. Okay. All right. So that's that for what we talked about on the second week. So by the third week, okay, Jethro.
Okay, ma, I'm sorry, I have an issue with using Flex. Maybe I don't understand
Okay.
the concept deeper, but I know much about it. So I was trying to build something like a project.
Mm,
So I encountered some difficulties. Now let me just give you an overview. Maybe you would help me out. So
okay.
it is a project like X, and we know that
All
X
right.
has three columns, which
Yes.
the first one is the navigation, then
Yeah.
the middle, which is taking
The
the bigger
content.
part, yes, has the
Yeah.
content, and then the last bar is for explore and other features. Now,
Yeah.
I noticed that the first column is in a fixed position, while the second and the third moves, like there is a movement while the first one
Yeah. Yeah.
is fixed. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever I try to put content in the main, that is in the center, the middle column, I have
Yeah.
an overflow, like it always overflows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whenever I try to give it, okay, I will give it padding, and then whenever I put any content, I will actually have to give it a position of absolute. So it takes me back, doing back and forth, and I've been trying
Okay.
to I've been trying
For
to put
your
my
problem, what I'm going to suggest, right?
yeah, yeah,
Try it if it works. Overflow none. Position fixed for your navbar.
overflow number.
Yes, overflow on the
Okay,
X and Y axis. It should not overflow. And
okay,
positions should be fixed. So that when you
okay,
scroll, it will remain fixed no matter the scroll of for the navigation bar. Try it out.
okay.
Trust me, it's going to work. Yeah, it's going to work.
All right, thank you very much. Let me try.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Once again, if you have any more problems, you can always put it out on the general group and it's going to be solved for you. Please, guys, try to, make use of the group. All right. So, who else also has, thank you very much, Jetro, for the inputs. So, who else also has something they want to say regarding Flexbox and the use of grid? All right. Okay. So, for Tailwind, we saw how Tailwind works. We saw the utilities and we were able to use it with the CDN link. You get. So Tailwind was no issue for us, I am guessing. But so that I'll not guess, does anybody have any issue that they encountered when they use Tailwind? All right. Yeah, just so you can go ahead.
Sorry, ma, I'm talking too much, but
No,
is
no, no, no.
is I just noticed, like, a colleague here helped me out when we were doing the tailwind. We actually used CDN
Yeah.
to actually style. So
Mm-hmm.
I came to find out that you can actually install it using npm, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
we actually tried our best and we did the installation. And
Mm-hmm.
then
Mm-hmm.
I today I just, when the SCSS class is going on, I get to find out that even Tailwind has what a compiler that that
Yeah.
yes, that actually converts that tailwind and give us an output in
Utility to
CSS.
CSS.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So both tailwind and then the SCSS have like compiler. So I'm very, very glad I'm
Yeah.
able to see that I can even use the CLI to do
Yeah.
tailwind instead of the
Okay, for
CDN. And then
Tailwind class, were you in the morning session or afternoon session?
morning.
Okay, if you joined us in the afternoon, I used both. I showed how
Oh,
to use the link and also how to install it in NPM. We looked
oh,
at that.
I wasn't in
Yeah,
your class. That was right.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
But it's
Thank
all
you.
good. It's all good. That's why you
Yeah.
also need to go back and
Yeah.
also see, basically that's that. So you can get it done. But why for HTML and CSS it's better you just use the link is that um when you get to React and Next.js, for example, when you are working in Next.js, it comes automatically with theory, like it just comes automatically. The installation of Next.js would automatically install um what do they call it, Tailwind. along with it. So you have to do a lot of manual configurations when you are installing it yourself manually using npm. Yeah, but yeah, at the end of the day we ended up using the CLI link, but it's all good, it's all good. That's really, really lovely. Thank you very much, Jethro. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. It's really lovely having you here. All right, so who else has anything they want? Okay, Chukwu Obed. Chukwu
Can you
Obed,
hear
you
me?
can. Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I think that thing when I want to install it, I use it's actually me and J3. J3 or it's like J3 or
Yeah,
Ruben.
I'm the one. I'm the one. I'm the one.
Okay. For me, I actually use a PMP. I don't know why I like it, but I use a PMP and something like that.
Yeah, PM. Some people also prefer it.
Because it
Whatever
kind
you
of
want to use, it's still a
okay,
package manager
manager.
at the end of the day. You can use PNPM, you can use NPM. But the most widely used one is NPM. You get
No, it's like
so that's
like the advantages, the advantage I find over the PNP is actually how it manages files and load more that kind of stuff. So like,
okay.
but as I install Tailwind and I want to install Tailwind on another project, I don't need to connect to internet again to install it. I'll just run a
Yeah.
PNPM, install offline Tailwind CSS. It's just install it from my system. So it's like every
Okay.
this thing. So yeah, that's the reason why I can't need to.
Okay,
So,
for NPM on your .json file, there's a way you have your JSON file, right?
yes, like something like if you're using an npm, you need to be reinstalling the node modules every time you want. Like you need to be installing from internet, and there will be
Yeah, there's
creating
a
space
way you
and the
can add
find
to your
for this.
there's a way
Yes,
you
you're
can
saying
add
something.
to your JSON file. You can talk about later in the group, or you can message me probably later today or tomorrow, because I'm actually not sure if I'll have time today. But anyway, sir, you can do it tomorrow. I can show you what you can do to add to your .json file. So that you just run npm run dev for every time you want to like restart it
No,
all
I
over
know
again.
you learn about that script stuff. That script stuff.
Okay,
Is it like in the
okay,
package
okay.
or
Yeah,
JSON? You enter a
yeah.
command. This is a tailwind inputs something like output something.
Yes,
I
yes,
think so.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
We
yes,
have
yes.
learned about that
That's
one also.
it. Yeah. You hey. Hi, who is on this call? Okay, this guy is on this call, but una they hot to like hi, I'm so impressed. Like lovely, honestly. Really, really lovely, honestly. Wow, 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 wow. Really, really good let's say inputs coming from you all. All right. So we had a tailwind project that we created. So does anybody have any issue with that particular tailwind project? Okay, okay, I'm sure we all understood. Okay. All right, so for this class, um, this it was
Uh,
let me
Can
see. Okay, Isa,
can you show us your project on Tailwind?
the project.
Yeah, they did it. They did it on Tailwind. Yes,
Oh, you're not around.
yes. I wasn't around.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. For that, it's on my GitHub. It was shared, and I will share it later. So you can just probably clone it, and then you can use it. All right. Can you hear me, Isa?
Yes, I can hear
Isa?
you. I can hear you. I can
Okay,
hear
so
you.
I'll probably share it later because it's on
Mm.
GitHub and yeah, so you can just
So
go next and
I say, can we skip all the questions and answers? Time is going. Let's continue, please.
wait, skip all the questions and answer to what?
Mm. Uh, Let's continue this SCSS. I want to know more about it.
Isa, don't want to say that's not a way to ask your question because we have a timetable which we follow. If you want more information on SCSS, I can provide it, but you don't say stuff like skip question and answer part. It's still part of what we are supposed to do here. We want to also hear everybody's inputs for what it is that we are doing. And I think it's also a good idea. Yes, so that's that. All right.
I
So
understand. I understand.
you were not in class when we're trying to write. I checked. I was looking out for you. I was asking, is Issa around? Is Issa around? So
The network is very
you don't
bad.
answer. Okay, you can still go back and watch recordings for it if you have any issue with it. You can go back and watch
Uh,
recordings.
I'll watch the
And
recordings. I'll watch
yeah,
it
you can
later.
watch recordings and you can also check documentations. So once again, SS is what we talked about today. And then as I mentioned, SCSS is a syntax from Sass. You get. Do you have Fahad? Do you have something you want to say? I see your mic is on.
No, he's just coming in now. Just coming in.
Okay. All right. So, did you see? Did you click the link for the slideshow that I provided or documentation on
Yes,
basic
I did.
SCSS?
Yes, I did. I did.
So you said there was no network on your end. So I'm sure you went through it. I'm
Yes,
guessing.
yes, I went through it. So later in
Okay.
the night, I'll check more. I'll check more about it.
So if since you
Mm.
went through it, what is it that you don't get from there?
It's just a brief. Just a brief. I'm going into it later.
No, I'm asking. You read it. You said that you were not on the class and you were reading the documentation because I provided it. You said network was bad.
No, I
So
can't.
if you have issues with it, so what is it that you have issues on? Let me know specifically how to address the issue.
Everything about it.
Everything about it.
Yes.
Okay, so everything about it. So if you read it, what do you understand by how it works? I want to know that, oh, you read it and you get something
No,
from it.
it's not like
You
it's
don't
just a
get
brief.
anything from it.
It's just a brief. I didn't read it. Just a brief. I'm going to study it later.
Okay. Everything about it is going to be already in 524 and it's going to take us a lot backwards because I also included BM methodology. Were you in class when I was giving the example on BM methodology? Isa, were you in class when I was
Okay.
talking about the BM methodology?
Today or on Tuesday?
Today.
No. Network.
So that is for most part of the lesson because I'm just trying to we talk about BM methodology on Tuesday and I spoke about it again when we converted our
I
project
didn't.
on
I didn't attend
Facebook.
previous classes.
But
But
you
I'm
attended
having.
today's classes.
Yes, my network is very bad. That's why. So
I
something
think
to skip. Yeah.
you should probably reach out to people of the group later, and you could also further read documentation. Yeah, read
I'll read it.
documentation.
I'll read it.
All right, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, so back to the recap and all. We talked about methodology. So when I heard about BM methodology for the first time, it was kind of new. But at the same time, why BM methodology helped me as a developer, especially as I was just, getting started and stuff like that, was that BM methodology helps me to give good class names, basically. Give good class names, know the kind of class names I was to give to different, let's say, classes. And then it also helps to um, know how to style properly and stuff like that. So for the BM methodology, does anybody have any questions regarding that? So we all understand BM methodology and how it works. All right. So I'm only seeing Jethro's hand going up. Okay, Ruben too. All right. So Jethro, do you think you like this BM methodology, and do you think you write um HTML code normally or use the BM methodology?
Okay, the methodology is actually a good concept too. Yes, it's nice because there is this thing you made mention of specificity, right? Um, I think you'll be more specific if you are using BM as a concept, and then in terms of
Yeah.
naming good classes, and then in terms of selecting what to style, it was very, very important because from what you did, when you are using the BM methodology and then the next thing, there is this synergy it has, and it can actually make your work
Yeah.
faster. And yes, it has a synergy and it can make your work faster and more cleaner. You
I
have,
like the word you use, synergy. You can see
yeah,
that everything is connected to each other. And
yeah,
when
yeah,
you start next thing, you can see that everything is really, really much
yeah, yeah.
connected to each other. Like, yeah.
Mm.
Thank you very much, Jet. So do you think it's something you could use for that? Like something else like
Yes, it is. It is something I will be very glad to use. I love trying new things, right? So it is something that even if I will not be comfortable to use it on projects, but I will really try it. And if eventually I fall in love with it, I will still use it. I will be using it more often. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so Ruben,
Yeah.
about the BM methodology, this is something you would want to use. Do you understand the concept of what we talked about?
Yes, I know about the concept, but the usage of it, I think, is very confusing. It's better you use your normal HTML.
Okay, so the usage of it. So what about the usage specifically?
Like writing all the classes, it will be very confusing. It's very, very confusing.
Okay,
Be very confusing.
okay.
Yeah.
I think when you understand how nesting works, it will be easy for you to actually adapt. But it's actually nice. It's actually nice because I said it's not compulsory. You get right. It's just
Yeah.
a very clean way of writing, and it helps styling a lot better. All right. So that's that. All right. Thank you very much, Ruben. So let me check who else is on the call. All right. The call is actually kind of not so much today. We are even coming to it. All right, Chuku Obed, welcome back. Can you hear me? Chuku Obed cannot hear me. So Fahad, um, Fahad, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so were you around? Okay, you are just joining, right?
Yes, I just came back from exams. I went to school this
Okay. But were
afternoon.
were you around for the morning session?
I was around, even though I left early because I went to school around after 11.
Yeah.
So I'm just coming back now and try to join.
Okay. So so do you understand the concept of SCSS?
No, guys, I really don't understand because even Tuesday class, my system, everything was off because there was no light for a few days. I could not be able to join Tuesday classes morning and evening, honestly.
Yeah.
When I joined this morning session, I'm trying to see new things. So I don't know where to start.
Yeah. Okay, don't worry. It's basically implementation locally and also going back to the resources that were provided. You should be able to catch up hard.
That's why I just opened this presentation. I'm trying to see the slides.
Okay. All right. That's lovely.
Yes,
All right.
that's why I was. Okay.
Okay. Why I'm even going through this one-on-one because I don't think I do one-on-ones. I just teach because sometimes what you have to say is actually so much. So I'm trying to do one-on-one before the end of my own session.
Okay.
All right. So thank you very much, Fahad. I'm hoping you understand it better because you'll be moving and starting with JavaScript next week. All right. Okay. So Chukwuobere, are you still on the call?
Yes, ma'am. I'm still on the call.
Chukwuobere. All right. So we're talking about the BM methodology and for the BM methodology, where I was asking, is it something you understood?
Yes, I understood it. I have used it.
Okay, so is it something you would use further?
For the purpose of because I'm a kind of person that like atomic CSS, which is utility. Even when
Yeah,
I'm writing plain CSS, I normally do have a separate file that I write my usable code and kind of import them
yeah,
in it. But with the introduction of CSS,
yeah,
Tailwind, I think they are kind of familiar. But like
yeah,
um, when you want to configure a complex layout, that for you to do them in your HTML with Tailwind, it will look a
yeah,
kind of messy. So that you now need to restrict the external file. So maybe in that external file you can introduce SCSS and also work with them as it makes complex layouts very, very easy if you understand the concept. So I think
yeah.
I can see it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. And I really think that is that. We're able to go over how we nested and and how we nested stuff and basically how to use talk about mixins. For mixins and extends, is it a concept? Because I remember when I was learning SCSS mixins was very difficult for me to understand at the time. Yeah. So does everybody understand how mixing and extend works? So that I could give a brief example, or we could just
In here, I actually understand them. I understand them,
yeah,
like how they work.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
how I normally do story. If I don't understand things, I will do YouTube and also watch if somebody is actually using it. So that's
yeah,
how
yeah.
I understand how it works. So mixing, for mixing, is a kind of a reusable set of code that you need
Mm,
to different places. So instead of breaking the rule of don't repeat yourself, uh,
yeah,
you, you calculate all of them in a code block, in the mixing,
yeah,
and call it to use them. For instance,
yeah,
card stuff, when like card and button and all stuff, you can increase their size
mm,
in mixing. Then using arguments, here you can manipulate your required design and all those stuff to make
yeah,
it very very easy. Then for extend, you can actually use extend inside the mixing. Extend is a kind of adding an existing code into a new one, and then you can also continue writing other code under it or above it, something like that. The kind of
yeah,
merging two type either.
yeah, 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 yeah. So that, thank you very much. Thank you. So, okay, Jethro.
Yes, and I think extent extent has to do more with inheritance, I think, from
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
yes,
mm-hmm,
from the parents to the child, and then even the mixings and variables, partials, and all. I just think
mm,
my interest sprang up using SCSS because I just saw that there is a way you can just write this stuff somewhere, then import them to a particular file, like in a modular
mm.
way that will give your work this. How do I put it? I don't know
Professional
the
look.
yeah the
Yeah.
professional look,
It's not
yes.
anyhow. Like,
So you just write it somewhere, bring it where
yeah.
you feel like you need it. All right.
Mm,
So
yeah.
like that was how my quest for SCSS grew up. I just hope that I can actually I'm very excited, not because I've written any project about it, but I just feel this
Yeah.
is what I want to work with. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah. Thank you very, 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 very much. Thank you so much. I'm very, very proud. I'm very happy that I was able to preach the SSS gospel. Because now, like anyway, I cannot remember the last time I ever had a CSS meetup, a CSS gathering. We don't really have much to talk about when it comes to Web 2, basically. Don't worry, Web 3 will be available for next year, since this boot camp will be closing off by December. But basically, so I like to, whenever I have the opportunity to talk about what SCSS do, I like to actually talk about it as much as possible so that I can tell people that, oh, this is something that would, it's actually nice. Actually, it's very, very nice. All right. Thank you very much for Chuku Obed and Jethro. I'm very glad. And for Ruben too. Like, thank you very much for Fahad. I'm sure you're going to catch up soon enough. Yeah, you're going to definitely catch up soon enough. All right. So I'm kind of, we are already 10 minutes into, so we have 10 minutes left. So I'm actually wondering what to use this 10 minutes for. All right. So wondering what is all right, that's true.
Mine is a request though, a little bit out of the context.
Okay.
We've had an impactful session with you, like for 4 weeks now, I think. And then it is not easy to actually impact knowledge to people who are new to these stuffs. Like, especially,
Mm,
let me speak for myself. I was actually
yeah.
new to programming, but with the passion I had for it, I actually opened my mind to actually learn. And then
Mhm.
this, your efforts were long reaching, like they are far reaching. They are very
Mhm.
impactful. We were encouraged by how you teach us and all. But I'll make a request. We've not seen your face with our morning mentor once in a while. He
Okay,
we
okay,
see his
okay.
face like once in a while,
So you
but
want to see my face?
yes, we don't even know how our mentor look like. Although we follow you on X, I have you on X, so your pictures are
Okay.
there.
Oh, you
But
have me on X.
yeah,
I
yeah,
could actually follow back. I don't. Am I following you back?
I don't think so, but I know that
You can
I
actually
have.
drop a hi. I would like to follow back.
All right, no problem, no problem.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much for the feedback. Honestly, yeah, it was lovely teaching. Because I was even skeptical. Will I be able to put this through? But thankfully, I have people that understand and are following. So for people that want to, um, what do I say? For people that want to see my face, okay, okay, okay. So your mentor's face. Okay, this is actually funny. Um, yeah, this is me, and yeah.
I'm not really so.
So that's that. That's that. And yeah, and all right, all right. So thank you very much, Jetro. Thank you very much. Yeah. All right. So hope we are all okay now. Okay. All right. Okay. Wow. This was a very very lovely experience. Like teaching was nice. It was really really nice. Honestly. Okay. So anybody wants to drop anything? Does anybody have something they want to say? Also, we still have like 8 minutes roughly or 7 before we come to a close. So all right. Okay. So for that, I don't even know what to use this time to do at this point. What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm trying to see something that is complex. So Fahad, for your knowledge, you have a lot of gurus in the house. Honestly, you have Chuku Obed, you have Jetro, you have Ruben, so you can just reach out to them on the Discord, even on the group. Yeah, I'm also active. I'm also very, very active. I also speak to people. I also speak to my students and all. So you can just drop whatever it is you don't really understand, and definitely you will get answers. You will definitely be answered. All right. So I think I want to end this now because I don't think there's anything left to say. Yeah, it has been a really, really, really nice class, and honestly, wow, wow, I'm going to miss teaching this class, honestly, but it's really, really lovely. All right. So everybody have a nice weekend. I'm definitely still going to drop assignments. Assignments will be dropped for a much bigger SCSS project. Nothing too much, something you can just something light, you get something light, nothing much. So assignments will be dropped and you can um what do they call it? You can do the assignments and yeah, you get. I'm far too nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback, honestly, guys. I'm very, very grateful. All right, let me stop recording so that we can call it a day.